Some really great news coming out of the internet today for Tony Khan and AEW. Plus, Warner Bros. Discovery dropped some huge news surrounding AEW on Max. And yes, a WWE show has been unfortunately canceled. All right, guys, I want to kick things off with WWE NXT Level Up. Just really some unfortunate news. If you're a fan of the extra content, Corey Brennan of Fightful Select dropped the news tonight on Twitter that tonight's NXT Level Up taping will be the last of the show's run. Fightful Select has learned that the event will feature matchups for Level Up, the December 31st episode of NXT, and the highly anticipated debut taping of WWE LFG, which is an upcoming reality competition show that is reminiscent of Tough Enough. Now, here's the thing. I don't know, like, we don't really know if WWE LFG is a long-term plan for the WWE. Obviously, we have seen a little bit on the internet about it and some of the tapings and stuff, but we don't have all the details on what it is, but we do know that it's going to be on the A&E network. So obviously WWE losing Level Up, but then gaining LFG could be a good thing. I do think Level Up served a purpose, though. And I'm not talking about it from a perspective of like, oh my God, this show has so many viewers and whatever. But the purpose of Level Up was to give some of these newer people in the Performance Center an opportunity to work matches that are televised. And then obviously WWE presented that content on Peacock. So there was a lot of people, especially if you've seen them come in with like NIL deals or maybe they weren't as experienced. This was a place where they were at least given an opportunity to learn what it's like to be on a WWE program. It's not like there was any really like standout matches or performances that were like completely like, holy shit, you got to watch it. But it was definitely some extra content for WWE on Peacock, which again has served its purpose. I know for a lot of people, before they even made it to NXT television, they were going to Level Up first. And I like that little ladder system where it's like, hey, you're kind of at the bottom of the totem pole. Go out there, impress us, learn something from the coaches, show that you're learning from the coaches and the producers, and we'll put you on TV if you're good enough. And I think that system really rewards the hard workers, which is why I like the show. Now, as far as WWE LFG goes, we haven't seen an episode yet. So obviously WWE is taping for that. I don't know how similar it will be to Tough Enough. I don't know how similar it will be to Level Up, but there is a lot of intrigue for me when it comes to that show. Obviously, WWE getting rid of Level Up tells me LFG is just the replacement. But if there's a reality show element to it, maybe that will make it a little bit more intriguing. Obviously, we'll see what happens. Who knows at this point? But yeah, Level Up is gone. That brings us to our next topic. Warner Bros. Discovery dropped a press release today. They announced a whole bunch of details on the availability of AEW content on Max. This is very cool stuff because I'm a big believer in like AEW's TV deal. And I had been talking about this for years, even prior to AEW being rumored to go with Warner Bros. But basically, Warner Bros. Discovery had announced some details. And with their new agreement, basically, AEW is going to be doing the simulcast of Dynamite and Collision on, TBS, TNT, as well as the Max streaming service. But then what's really cool is at the start of the year, basically, you're going to start seeing all of the AEW content library getting uploaded into the streaming platform. So you're going to see all the old AEW Dynamite's Collision Rampage episodes, the AEW pay-per-views. There's going to be over 700 hours of AEW content, and it's going to be made available on a rolling basis. So slowly but surely, you'll see all of it being uploaded to the platform. Now, obviously, one of the biggest things that's really cool is at launch, you're going to see the inaugural 2019 year, which will be available, which for me, the first year of AEW was just such an exciting period of time for the company and just a lot of great matches and a lot of great content. I went to many of those events, so obviously the fact I'll be able to go and watch on Max is really cool. And then they did reveal that the Max streaming service will get pay-per-views at some point in 2025. Right now, from what I'm hearing specifically, it sounds like the platform isn't necessarily ready for the pay-per-views just yet, but they should be ready in time within the next year. So obviously great news for AEW. I can't lie, I think this is a win for AEW, but this is not just a win for AEW. This is a win for consumers who already pay for the Max streaming service and feel like maybe it doesn't have as much value, because now you're being given even more content to watch. And I feel like with streaming services, I'm not a very big fan of them, honestly. But if they're giving you more content, that does feel like a W. A lot of streaming services have increased their prices over the years. A lot of streaming services have removed content over the years, or they've added content for a limited time. I feel like I feel like the streaming service is, I prefer the old way with cable, to be honest. But seeing that Warner Bros. Discovery is adding all this content and there's just more value, it's a big win for consumers, honestly. Because it doesn't sound like the Warner Bros. Discovery approach, it doesn't seem like they're trying to increase the price of the streaming service, which is a great thing, because usually what ends up happening is people spend a lot of money for content, and then to justify it, they go and increase the price, which as of this time, it doesn't sound like that's been announced or revealed or any plan for such an action. So really good stuff there. Great news for TNA? No. Great news for WWE? No. Great news for AEW? Absolutely. Guys, Warner Bros. Discovery, obviously with AEW getting their TV deal with Warner Bros. Discovery, it completely changed the game for AEW. And Variety does an annual list for deal makers. It's like a really cool, recognizable list for all those in the sports and entertainment world who are known for making great deals, especially within the TV industry. Tony Khan of AEW secured the top spot on the list thanks to his most recent rights deal with Warner Bros. Discovery. The deal, obviously, as you guys know, it's worth over $185 million per year. Dynamite and Collision are going to be TNT, TBS, and HBO Max. Really, this is good news for the company. Nick Khan and Ari Emanuel, Mark Shapiro were also on the list because of their decade, their not their decade, but they obviously came up with this new deal for $5.2 billion with Netflix. And, really what it comes down to is when you look at the list for AEW, we expect WWE to be on there. We expect Nick Khan and we expect Ari and TKO to be on there, right? But with AEW, they are saying that the company is now valued at $2 billion. And it's the third most valuable combat sports company in the world. Now, you guys can hate AEW if you want. You can love AEW if you want. But there's a lot of people who tried getting in the game and they all failed. A lot of companies have failed. A lot of people try to get into wrestling or combat sports and they talk a big game of what they're going to do and they're not able to do it and they lose money and they're not profitable and they don't have enough money at their resources. Tony Khan obviously is slightly different from them. So with AEW having a $2 billion evaluation, it's just, it's a very good thing. And, it doesn't mean their product is great, but it just means that the business deals that they're making, it's very strong. It's something that we haven't seen outside of WWE. So obviously very good stuff there. Let me know what you guys think down below.